Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit,
And I'm Kel.
and we're here with our Week 5 Power Rankings. So, we had an interesting week this week. We had a bunch of teams really just come out of nowhere that we thought were going to be good in the beginning of the year, and some teams just fail. And so, let's dive in. Let's talk about some news first. So, one of the teams that has made its way to the bottom of the league, released their coach, the LA Valiant. Thoughts on that?
After probably one of the most boneheaded tweets, or just like, was it in a video that he said that
Yeah,
they
it was like in one of their videos, I guess.
Video blogs or like something like that. So basically, he went to say that, the reason Custa's not playing is because he's too smart and his callouts just go over the heads of everybody else, or something along those lines. And it's just like,
you just knocked everybody.
Like, dude, like, not only did you insult Custa, you knocked yourself for not being able to get these guys on the same page as him, and then you also called the rest of your players stupid.
Yeah, and then you decided that putting a main tank on Lucio was the way to go.
Yeah.
Totally outthought himself, because that dude's a good coach. I just think, I don't know, a momentary loss of mind.
Sanity or something, but
that was absolutely the most asinine thing I've ever heard.
Right, it really was. Like, I'm just blown away, and like, hopefully things get better for the Valiant, but honestly, they do not look good. They have just progressively looked worse and worse every single week. They're getting into a dangerous territory where now teams are going to play their hardest against them because they don't want to lose to the winless team. Yeah.
And the thing is if you watch their matches, there are things like even their quote unquote good players, like Izzyaki, his transcendences are not timed right.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Or they spend so much time trying to save Fate.
Right.
Like with putting so many resources into trying to keep him alive instead of telling Fate, hey, dial it down, man. You're diving way too deep, or you're getting caught out of position by the Lucio and you're getting booped into the other team. Because I watched a couple of things, and I watched Sideshow, who, guys, if you have not watched Sideshow's stream, please do. It's very informative and bizarrely entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a freak. He's a fucking wacko, and it's awesome.
And I wish we could get more of his personality that's like that on the on the actual desk. Like when he actually gets to come back and participate.
Well, they can't swear or anything like that. So.
Right. I just hope that, like, obviously not swearing and all that, but I want him to be able to bring some of that edge that he's got. Because, man, it's so entertaining, though, to watch him just, like, kind of lose his mind, but, like, justifiably lose his mind.
And fight me, I back him 100% on the Outlaws.
Right. Oh, for sure.
I'm on his side on that one.
I think both of us are.
Yeah. Well, we're haters from a long way back, I guess.
Right.
It's not even haters. It's disappointment with that team, and I'm just done. Anyway, so the Valiant... And, you know, the thing is if you look at it, he got a lot out of mediocrity.
Yeah.
And people can hate me for saying that. But other than Fate, Custa, and Space, and Izyaki's new to the equation, they're okay players. Agility's okay. Kareev, maybe above average.
Right.
You know, it's like you look down the roster and you're like, I don't know.
That being said, they have enough talent that they shouldn't be winless. That's the biggest issue.
That was my next point, too.
They're so, and they just look so dejected after just like just the slightest things go wrong anymore, that like like they're just completely tilted, basically just going into a match.
Yeah. Well, they have things in their favor.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Shall we start?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's start with the we're gonna start with the power rankings. So number 20, we both have the Washington Justice.
Yep.
They couldn't even beat Seoul's B team.
Yeah.
Like, they wiped the floor with them.
Yeah,
they are absolutely terrible, man.
They're not good.
I mean, that was, like, I said on the stream yesterday, like, please, God, give me some good Overwatch. And there were so many fucking awful matches this week, and that was, like, one of them. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm not a player that's, like, on the level that should be saying, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
I mean, I can observe better than I can play right now, but that's beside the point. But, like, they have no cohesion. Their economy is absolutely abysmal. And then they're one of these teams, like, on that eco push when you're going in, they always lose it.
Yes.
They never can win, like, a dry push or an eco push where they're trying to build ults and capture a point. They never get the first shot.
The only time they ever get a point is
6 ults.
By using like most, if not all, of their ults.
Yeah, they got to go in with Grav, Diva Bomb, Sound Barrier, and starting out with a rally. They are just awful.
Yeah,
and
it's not good.
Yeah, they're just terrible, and good thing for the Valiant that they're in the bottom. Now, we differ at 19. We decided we're going to go individual again. Last week was just an anomaly, guys. We actually happen to agree on every spot. Normally, we have a few that are different.
But just the way everything was shaking out, like there was like any differences would have been so minor that it wasn't even worth it.
It would have been like 10 and 9 flipped, and that would have been it. So it was just a compromise. I have my team, the Florida Mayhem, at 19.
And I have the dumpster fire that we were talking about previous to the other dumpster fire, just on the other side of the country, and that's the LA Valiant.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I give the Valiant a pass at 19, they still went 0-7. They had a rough schedule. I will give them that.
They did, but
they could have squeaked something out somewhere.
They're just
They should have beat the Outlaws if they were anything worth a damn.
They should have beat the Outlaws. They should have beat...
That was by the way, speaking of bad matches.
Oh, God.
That was... fucking
It was
dismal.
like watching like two teams try not to lose.
Yeah. That was...
like it's like watching two of the bottom teams in the NBA who were like fighting for the first pick in the draft. Like...
Who's trying to throw harder?
Right.
Like when the 76ers were throwing every year, if they were playing like fucking the Clippers or something.
Or the Suns.
Or how can you throw and not get it right?
Right.
Welcome to the Phoenix. And
yeah,
anyway,
no kidding.
You know, Florida and the Valiant are kind of interchangeable here. The Valiant, look, we talked a little bit about them. They're just a mess.
I primarily put them lower simply because they literally lost. They've lost every game in the stage.
Yeah.
Like,
and Florida nutted up and did win one.
And they've lost every single one. So I couldn't just like, because at least at times Florida looks like a cohesive team. It's not very often, but there are times where you're just like, okay, there's something there. But with LA, like, even when they win, it's like,
what the fuck was that? Like, okay, the other team played worse.
Right, exactly.
Like, their winning maps is contingent upon the other team fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
Not just good play. Like, all right, you know, they kind of... It just doesn't... It's never clean.
No.
They didn't look horrible when they played Vancouver and New York. It's like they kind of raised their game a little bit, but they still just made so many mistakes. And they're not massive mistakes. They're minor mistakes. Like, it's timing and just... And then it gets to a certain point where it's like they're throwing.
Right.
Like, fuck this.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. All right, so let's move on to Florida. Yeah.
I'm going to keep saying this, and I said it last night on the stream. The problem with this team is not the players. Their players have some skill. Mm-hmm. The problem is there's no discipline with the coaching.
None.
Bare Hands is making some roster changes. He brought in McGravy. Looks good. He's doing some things, but I don't like the coaching. It's the inmates running the asylum. Look, dude, Stop running fucking May. Get on Brigida and fucking kill somebody, would you?
Right.
Stop fucking around.
Yeah,
and there's no one saying that.
Yeah, it's getting really frustrating to watch and see really great play from some of these guys, but they're just not able to put it all together. You're just getting these individually good performances, but then that's getting undercut by a bad decision from somebody else, and then
overextensions. And there are times when they have the alt economy in their favor. They literally kill 3 people, and then they lose the fight.
Right?
How?
And then they use their alts after the fight is lost.
Yeah. They're dropping sound barrier when there's 2 people up.
Right.
Things like that. Just trying to, I don't know. It's like blowing my mind. And it feels like to me, and I don't care. They can fucking hate me. I love this team. I think the thing is that's really frustrating right now is there's potential in this team to be decent.
Right.
And there's no one correcting the idiocy.
Yeah.
There's no one saying...
There's just a complete lack of discipline.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's the inmates running the asylum. And they're going to be floating around here. I don't know. And look, this is going to sound weird after we just slammed the dude. Maybe they should pick up Moon as their coach.
Right.
He might have just been done with the Valiant. That shit happens. I mean, you've seen it like in football,
Yep. Where a guy is just a bad coach or just has a bad experience.
Tenure. Yeah, he's just there too long.
And he just loses the room.
Yeah, exactly. And it's someone like what the old guy that was coaching Coach Jacksonville and the Giants.
Or are you talking older?
Older. Just got fired by the Giants a couple years ago.
Oh, Tom Coughlin?
Tom Coughlin, yeah.
Yeah.
He loses the room eventually. I think this guy's one of those guys that loses the room eventually. Mm-hmm. Where they're just not listening because he's being a dick.
Yeah,
but there's a certain point where they're following him.
Right.
The Florida needs something like that.
And when they're bought in and following what he's trying to get them to do, then they're really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, I could definitely see that.
I mean,
and Florida could use really any help. Literally anything that they could do as far as coaching is 100% necessary.
Yeah, because their team is not horrible.
Right.
It's not great, but it's not horrible. You get the right guy in there, they could be in the top 15, top 10, sort of. Mm-hmm. If they get meta breaks and whatever else is going to happen. All right, let's move on. I'm done talking about that dumpster fire.
At 17, both of us have the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah.
How much more can we dump on this team? Quite a bit, even though they won this week.
Ugh, that was ugly. They won, though, so I moved them up because they won.
It was, it was probably one of the most hideous games I've watched.
Yeah, that was ugly. And, last year, if you would have saw Houston and the Valiant on a docket, you've been like, all right, this is a must-watch game.
Right.
Oh, man, that was bad. It was not clean at all. They're just... No.
Just,
it's ugly
just
fucking
terrible,
Overwatch.
Terrible alt economy. Houston just getting bailed out from a few good plays, and, they...
Bailed out by Bonnie a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I would say that probably they're...
And Boink.
best shot was their hold on 66, but even then, like, you could just see that LA had just given up at that point.
Well, the LA was being LA at that point.
Right. Like, because it was already, it was basically over. Like, I don't know, it was just ugly.
At what point when you play the Valiant right now, you just bait them. They're going to fucking drop all their ults for no reason.
No kidding.
Just, here's how you go into play LA. Focus on Fate. Izayaki's going to drop Trance, and they're not going to have it from when we have Grav.
Right.
It's pretty much how to play them. Houston, though, they're just Houston.
Right.
Like, show me something.
They have yet to do anything that has impressed me.
Yeah. So still at 17.
Yep.
16's a big drop.
Yeah.
Big-ish drop. I think we both had the same... Do we have...
We do, the Hangzhou Spark.
Hangzhou Spark, yeah. Like we said last week, disarray.
Yeah.
1 minute they're good, 1 minute they're bad. Their communication's way off. You can see their skill cap could be really high. Because at certain points they play fantastic. But they got absolutely hammered by fucking Toronto.
Yeah, they did.
And Toronto was fucking around and they got a draw.
Right. Right. Like, that shouldn't have even been a draw.
Yeah.
But it simply was because, like, Toronto's like, whatever.
Yeah. Because they went on the final map. Toronto fucking just mashed them, which I was like, okay, I thought Hangzhou was way better than this.
I was surprised because, like, I still can't even believe that Hangzhou was able to finish the map because Toronto was holding them so hard on that first point, and then they just kind of finished it, and it was like, oh, I guess it's over now, or I guess that part's over. But the way that they first held again to finish the map off, you're like, okay, Toronto knows what they're doing.
There's just something going on there that they need to figure out. For as much as we bought in, they're just up and down.
Right and now. It's frustrating because this team has so much potential to be so much better than this. Yeah. But they just look lost. Like their ult economy is bad. They're just not very disciplined. They're not
focusing on the right people to eliminate. They're not. There's just a lot of things.
Their target priority is not good.
Yeah.
And then their ability to...
Case in point, to bring the Toronto matchup again, Neko, in the middle of that last map, only died 6 times playing Zenyatta.
Oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That was throughout the whole
the whole match.
After the whole match was over, I think he died 8 times.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And the only reason he didn't break the record that Jonak set was because he was behind. They were fucking around, and they were like, they got caught in an awkward place because they were spawn camping.
Yeah, they were spawn camping, and then what ended up happening, he got stuck on the bridge behind them, and he was the only one left. So, I mean, what are you gonna say? And then he died another time. Yeah, he died another time spawn camping.
And it was either
someone
spawn
camping or
just like it was like the one random team wipe that they had.
Yeah, I think Bebe headshotted him from the spawn room.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you got to get pissed off.
Right. But yeah, Hangzhou
there's just points where they look so good, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm buying. And then they just, all their communication and everything just breaks down to this mess of like quick play. What are you guys doing?
Right.
And it's frustrating watching them. I mean, I want to like them to be good because their players are pretty dynamic.
Right. And like they have, from top to bottom, just looking at their lineup, I'm like, every single one of these guys has made a play or makes consistent plays where they are really good, but every one of them has also made a critical mistake that has cost them a game.
Yeah, whether it's, sound barrier drops at the wrong time, getting booped off maps, just weird shit too.
Weird positioning, like there's times when Godspeed just gets way over aggressive when he's really charged up. Then there's times where Gushue will try to shatter and he doesn't get anything and then get shattered in return.
Yeah.
And a lot of that kind of thing.
They try to do a lot of guys are trying to do the bumper thing.
Mm-hmm.
That flank shatter.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not bumper.
Right.
Just back it down.
And even Bumper got
he gets fucking
this week.
Oh, the wrecking ball.
But we'll get more into that later. But yeah, this team has been. I still think that they have a shot. Obviously, they don't have a shot at the stage playoffs.
No,
but I think they have a good chance to turn it around and look and really live up to their potential. But
a lot of teams are going to look different.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I would like to. I'm going to shout out to a couple, like to some of the other podcasters, if they want to get around and have like a round table kind of thing about where the meta is going to go.
Yes.
And what we think, like the power rankings, because this power ranking, it feels like stage 1 last year with the Mercy meta. Mm-hmm. A little bit. And that was a whole different thing, but it's like, this is all going to change, and what the fuck's going to happen?
Right.
Except for the top 2 teams. I might even throw a couple other teams that are in the top 5 in there, but the top 2 teams are going to be fine.
Yeah, for sure. Like those teams, I don't think it matters what the meta is. They're just that good that they're going to be elite no matter what.
Yeah. All right.
But, all right, yeah, let's move on to number 15.
15.
This is where we differ a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, wait, no.
No, we have the same.
Yeah, this one's the same. It's the next one that we have different.
Yeah.
So 15, we both have the Chengdu Hunters.
Yes.
As much crap as we give this team, I gotta give them some
credit. They are entertaining. I just poke at them. I'm not being mean.
Right.
It's just, they're the embodiment of the Benny Hill theme. It's just, when you're watching them, it's like chaos. And then all of a sudden they come out ahead. Actually, you know what?
Wait, how the hell did they do that? They look like the Chinese national team from the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like, so much so, it's really bizarre.
Yeah. Doa actually put it best. They're the best go-kart driver in a regular car race.
Yes.
In other words, they're not bad, but they're just kind of downsized a little bit where they're not quite up to everybody. But that being said, I think if we get into this meta where you're starting to see, I saw it a lot in quick play, and I was playing on the PTR, and I was playing with people that are way above my level. Mm-hmm. They're running a lot of Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
A lot of Wrecking Ball, 4 DPS, and Mercy. So if that happens, these guys could be dangerous. Because Ameng is amazing on fucking Wrecking Ball. And his Reinhardt wasn't horrible like everyone seemed to think it was.
No,
not that we've seen it enough.
I was very surprised, and the way that they were able to play goats, I'm honestly surprised that they haven't been playing it more, because they actually pulled it off really well.
Yeah, and I think that's a surprise now.
Right.
Surprise, goats. They usually run all kinds of other weird shit. But
right, like I feel like they were doing themselves a disservice by not running more goats earlier in the season, because if they had played that more consistently, they had a chance to really move up the standings and make some noise.
But they got a couple of wins, and to be honest, they kind of were practicing some strats that could be coming up. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
A couple of those guys are really good. Who was that? Was that Youngjin playing Pharah?
Oh, yes. Or no, it was it wasn't Youngjin.
Bacon Jack?
No, it was
one of their dudes, man. He was insane.
Jinmu.
Yeah.
His
Pharah is better than is almost ridiculous. EQL level.
Yeah.
Fucking shoot me, but man, that dude was on fire. Yeah, right. No one's playing anything to counter that really, but still.
I mean, he was just raking.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had crazy damage. So
he was getting like a barrage every 5 seconds.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
His Pharaoh was really good.
They got upside.
In general, like this team very much has some upside, and I think they could really make a big splash in the next meta.
Yeah.
Depending on
I
how it
so
all
too.
plays out.
All right.
Let's move on to number 14.
We differ in this one. We have the picks flipped.
Yeah. At 14, I have Soul Dynasty.
I have the Dragons at 14.
Yeah.
I have the Dragons at 14 because at times they look like a 3-win team from the same team from last year. Mm-hmm. That match they played early in the week was absolutely horrific.
Oh, God.
Against Dallas. It was like they didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And can someone fucking in their coaching staff, I swear to God, they need to like enlist like those military rules. If you get off the point, you run a lap.
Yeah. Just make them run around the arena.
What are the Dragons doing? Well, they C9'd again.
But
I think it should be called Shanghai'd. They Shanghai'd the point. Because
they looked so bad in that game against Dallas. Like, Dallas just outclassed them in every way, shape, or form.
And Dallas is good, but come on, guys.
London and they looked untouchable at times.
Yeah, and London looked absolutely weird.
London was. This is a weird week for London.
London's just weird.
Yeah, they really are. But I think what really surprised me the most was their hold on the first point of King's Row.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Like,
Ding is a stupid Sombra player.
Yeah.
I love all the Sombra play because I'm a big fan of playing Sombra, and just watching these guys go is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Ding was really good.
I mean, they have components on this team that could be, you have Gamsu leading the charge here. Mm-hmm. And, there's just like some things that are off. Like, Luffy's fucking great.
Yeah. Coma's okay.
Yeah, he's not. The second game, he was fantastic.
Right. I think, they just need to get a little more consistent.
They still have to get together, too. Like, and play
that's kind of one of their issues is, like, they're going back and forth on their lineups, like, swapping in Gagori for Youngjin.
Yeah.
And all of that. So, like, that's kind of where things get a little iffy, but there's times where Youngjin looks really good, and then they're swapping in Guardian. So I feel like once they figure out their best lineup, I do think that this team is going to be a lot better.
So do I.
But then, obviously, it's going to change once the meta changes and we get the next patch in the next stage.
And you might see more of Dia.
Yeah.
Ding, Diem, and Dia. Triple D. Boy, somewhere Guy Fieri is fucking happy with that.
Oh my God.
Put donkey sauce on that shit.
I keep seeing this damn t-shirt on Facebook that gets advertised, and it's like Dungeons and Dragons and Diners and Drive-Ins. Or it's Dungeons and Drive-Ins and Dragons and Drive-Ins. Or something like that. And it's got like a dragon with the Guy Fieri sunglasses on, and it's just like Escape from Flavor Town. And I want it so bad.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah, so with Shanghai, I think they definitely have the potential to be a lot better.
All right. But I had the Dynasty one higher than you.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I had them back behind because Shanghai they impressed me more so because they just, in their game that they won, they played so much better, and like, even though they're inconsistent, they're narrowing down and figuring out where their inconsistencies are. Whereas Seoul seems to find another thing that they're inconsistent or bad with every single week, even though they won this week.
Yeah. And then they flopped in a lineup. Well, they were playing Washington, so.
Right. So it's really hard to tell any of that. But you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of thinking that this team is anything more than what we have seen.
Yeah, it's just I'm tired with them.
They're exhausting.
Yeah, and trying to figure them out is like trying to figure out fucking something that some physics problem that Stephen Hawking came up with.
Right.
God. I don't even know if it's that easy.
It's just they're just so frustrating.
And it's like 1 minute you're going, all right, yeah. See, but I still go back to some of the things that I said. Fissure's too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And Fletta's not aggressive enough.
Yeah.
He's always the passive player anyway. I mean, he's a god DPS player, but he's never one to like overextend.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do things like that Prophet do or like Defran. They might go in a little too hard. They might die, but they also might 5-kill. Sometimes he's happy with the 2-kill or the 3-kill and not dying, which granted is not bad.
Right, and at the very least, they're going to get a pick that's going to matter.
Yeah, sometimes you need the takeover.
Yeah,
you need the hit, especially on Zarya. You need that aggression. You don't need them to be stupid, but a little bit of aggression would fucking help them a little bit. And Fissure dialing it down and trying not to be God would also help.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's just,
obviously we didn't really see much of Fissure this week. Well, we didn't see him at all. We saw Marvel. But again, this is just even though they won, this is just a questionable coaching decision. Yeah. Why wouldn't you put in your best players to get some experience, get some cohesion together
against a bad team?
Against a bad team, yeah. It's just.
I understand they have to beat
questionable decision.
Yeah, and they have to beat London next week. I mean, do you have these guys grinding for 2 weeks on London?
Right. Because probably, and they're probably going to win because for whatever reason, when Fissure plays London, he's just got their number. But even then, it's not going to be enough because it's not going to get them into the playoffs.
They'd have to 4-0 and get some help. The teams with the best shot, I think, to get in are Boston and Seoul, actually. Maybe London.
Yeah.
There has to be a 4-0 in there somewhere because you have to get up to 8.
Yeah.
And
Guangzhou's they've got a good map differential.
Yeah. The best map isn't the best map differential Boston?
Boston's got a +2. Guangzhou's got a +3.
Okay. Yeah. Enough with Seoul. My head fucking hurts now.
Right.
They're going to give me a tumor. I swear to God. Why is that tumor shaped like a fucking tiger head in here? I don't know. Anyway. Let's move up to 12 where we differ again. A couple of picks we've had flip-flop back and forth. I have Paris because hot garbage right now.
Yeah.
And the team above them has potential. I think London has more potential than Paris right now. I don't know what the hell's going on with them, but wow.
Oof, I put London at 12 and Paris at 11. But, I mean, honestly, yeah, they really could switch back and forth, and I don't think anybody would really notice because, they're both just in such a weird spot where, Paris looked so good to start the season, and then
Atlanta figured out how to wreck their GOATS comp.
And everyone has picked up on that, and they're just taking advantage of it. And they also had a brutal schedule this past week. I mean, they played 2 of our top 3 teams in Vancouver and San Francisco, so, they had a lot of hard competition to go against. So
I'm at San Francisco. I said the Gladiators. I was off there.
Oh yeah.
But that just says to me though they're not a top 10 team if they can't beat any one of the 3: Atlanta, San Francisco, or Vancouver.
Right.
Vancouver's a stretch at this point.
Yeah. I mean, even they didn't even get close. They got mashed by Vancouver. It was not even close. If they had even made it a competition, it might have been a little bit different. But Vancouver just owned them straight up. And
I think they were on a 12 map losing streak, 11 map losing streak, and they picked up the last one of the week that they played. Well, I think some of the things that we were leery of with them when the season started are starting to come to fruition.
Yeah.
Can they do anything besides goats?
Right. And
you kind of have to. As much as this meta is predicated on running 3-3, goats, whatever you want to call it, there are times when you don't run it.
And when you can't do that, then you're just really setting yourself up for just a bad time.
And, there are just things on this team that are I don't like.
Yeah.
Ben Best, I think, is a little bit overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's decent. I think if you get him out of his comfort zone, he's terrible.
And I think I feel like Shadowburn and Soon are pretty interchangeable on who's going to be better.
Yeah.
Because there's times where Shadowburn looks great, and there's times where he doesn't look the best, and then it was the same with Soon.
Yeah.
I think
Shadowburn's not great on Zarya.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say it. He's okay. He's not anything to write home about. To be honest, they're going against the rule that, like we were talking about. You want the hit scan guy on Zarya. Right. And they have the projectile guy on Zarya. Mm-hmm. Like maybe try Soon on him a little bit more, or on her a little bit more. Because, if you look at London, it worked for the first 2 games or 3 games or whatever, but they only played 3 games.
Right.
And if you look at London switched Prophet over there because he's the hit scan.
Mm-hmm.
He's the tracer. Put the tracer player on that. Put Soon on it. Because I think the projectile guys have trouble with that.
Yeah. Well, the other one that I think has been kind of disappointing is Hype or Hip, whatever you want to call him.
Hip. He's okay.
Been okay, but any team that's like worth a damn has a very good Zenyatta, and he's just kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, and you can't have middle of the road. So I think that kind
of hurts them. Yeah.
And you have someone that can mitigate the fragging and the healing, and maybe not as much the healing, but the Discord orbs and the Transcendence drops. Like when you're dropping them, to me that's more important almost than the Harmony Orb, because you have the Brigida with the healing pack, the whatever it is, the repair pack. That's your big burst heal,
right? And
your Zenyatta's main job is basically build up the ultimate, save it, and drop it at the right time.
And try to mitigate damage here and there.
Yeah, well, yeah, and getting some limbs because you don't have too much damage going on without his right clicks and whatever.
Right.
But he just doesn't. He doesn't do all of the things.
Yeah.
At this point, especially against the good teams. Against the mediocre teams, yeah, he rakes. But who doesn't?
Right.
Who knows? Next week they could go out and fucking 4-0 somebody.
Yeah, that would be. That's just kind of how the league goes right now.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's been the power rankings for this week. Don't forget to hit a like and hit a subscribe. All of the good stuff on YouTube. Rate us on iTunes and all that kind of good stuff. Thanks a lot, and feel free to hit the comments down below. You know how much we like to go back and forth with you guys. Don't forget too, one of us is usually in on Discord on the weekends, and the late games if we're not working. We got some other stuff coming up later in the week we'll talk to you guys about. It's really exciting. It's going to be fun. And we will talk to you guys later.
Catch you guys in the next one. Later.